repeat the whole time? There you go.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to This Is the Thing. I am Dalton Bradford, and I have...
Robert Devaney.
There you go. All right. You got it, dude.
Nailed my cue. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
How's it going, everybody?
Oh.
To This Is the Thing.
What is happening? Well,
What do you mean?
guys, it has been a road to get to this this day today. Between the technical difficulties, the scheduling for this week, there's just been a lot of crazy stuff been going on this week. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, it's been pretty hectic. Like Dalton had it actually laid out pretty great with the last 2 days, and I had like complete plans. So and work's been pretty crazy. So yeah, it's been great.
What were you doing today?
Actually, I went camping last night, and today, after I got back from camping, I had a pumpkin carving contest. I did not place. I did not get a top three. It's pretty sad.
What'd you carve?
I actually carved. I freehanded it, which I was impressed with myself.
That's why you didn't win.
That's probably exactly why I didn't win, because it didn't look that great. But it was like 3 crosses on a hill with like a tomb thing. It's on like underneath the hill. I mean, it was cool, but yeah, it didn't win. So we had a lady like actually carve a horse and a cowboy, and yeah,
That's pretty cool. So the horse and cowboy won?
Actually, the horse and cowboy got second. This other person did some devils and ghosts and stuff, and like it was really good.
That's really neat.
It was good.
I don't carve pumpkins. I mutilate them. I'm pretty good at cutting the top off of one and then sticking my hand in it, but beyond that, it's nothing.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite parts, probably.
Of what?
Like putting your hand down in it to clean it out.
Oh yeah. Have you ever eaten pumpkin seeds?
So we actually had to save all of ours today because the lady is making them. Like, apparently she covers them in some stuff, puts them in the oven for a little bit, and she's gonna bring them back to us.
It's really good. If you've never had it, it's really good.
That is exactly what she said. I haven't tried them. Never tried them.
They're pretty good. Well, what are we talking about today on This Is the Thing? Robert, you want to introduce us into our topics for the people?
Yeah, sure. So today we were actually talking about remembering the 90s.
Ooh.
So, yeah, exactly. So me and Dalton, we were kind of both born in the 90s, so we have that great claim of being a 90s kid.
Yeah.
Right?
What year were you born?
I was born in 93.
93. I was 91.
91. So we got to experience most of it.
See,
you pretty much almost all of it.
Yeah, whenever I consider the 90s, like obviously the 90s to the 2000, but even like when I think about the 90s, for some reason I have like this nostalgia, and I remember the 90s as even the early 2000s, like up to maybe 2003, 2004, maybe.
Yeah.
It was just a weird transition.
No, that's just how great the 90s was. The 90s just took ownership. The 90s was like, hey, we're not going to end. We're going to go 3 or 4 more years.
Yeah, let's just keep this thing going. Y2K really ruined a lot, so let's finish the year out. Let's go into 2004.
The Y2K thing, I guess I was too young to understand it, but like it makes no sense to me. Like leaving the 90s, going to like everybody was scared the computers weren't going to work and stuff. I'm like, I don't think we designed it like that.
No.
We were freaking out over nothing.
I didn't learn about Y2K until I actually got older. Someone started talking about Y2K, and I'm like, what is Y2K? They're like, you don't remember Y2K when they thought that the whole world was going to end because all the computers, something about zeros or something? And I was like, what does that even mean? Like, you think that computers can't make zeros?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It absolutely makes no sense to me, and I would think that is probably one of the biggest flaws in the history of like humankind. I'm thinking this was going to be a failure, that we couldn't roll over 1 year.
I'm telling you guys, when the clock strikes 12, it's over. When those computers crash, the world's gonna blow up. It's
3
it's
zeros.
over.
3 zeros. 2 and 3 zeros. There's no way.
There's no way that a computer can calculate a zero.
And you know 2020 is like freaking sitting like, oh, you think that was bad? You wait till you get 2020.
Oh, you think this is rough? You just
Yeah.
wait. Have we got something in store for you?
We got a treat for you. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's just how great the 90s was. Going back to the 90s was so great. Like, it just took ownership over stuff. And I mean, you was kind of a loser if you wasn't a 90s kid. You remember that being a trend?
What?
Like in the I was like in high school, and it was like during that time period, like there was kids that were younger that was born like in the 2000s, and you were like, you don't understand, you weren't a 90s kid.
You don't get it. We had the best. Like you try to explain it to them. You're like, we had the best cartoons. We had the best toys. We, computers came up with us. Like you don't understand, bud. You grew up with all this stuff.
Yeah. So and it was like, but it was so disrespectful if you wasn't a 90s kid.
Oh yeah.
I remember like a kid just being like, I can't even talk to him. They were in the 90s.
They won't understand.
Yeah, there's such a, but it lasted like for 4 or 5 years. I remember saying like the 90s kid was like probably like a hashtag. Is that how you kids do it these days, Dalton? I mean, I know you're older than me, but I consider you a kid.
Well, I know that you don't have social media, but
it's
still a hashtag. Yeah, it's still a hashtag.
I don't know. That's what I tell people at work. I tell them to hit the pound sign. I'm like, y'all call that a hashtag.
Yeah,
so,
I've actually heard you say that. You say it to the 2000 kids.
Yeah, I'm like, if y'all hit the pound sign, y'all refer to it as a hashtag.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like if any of these kids have to get on a phone, and like everything you do on a phone when they ask you to enter in something, they say followed by the pound sign.
Yeah.
They have no idea what to do. They need to change it to followed by the hashtag sign. Because that's the only way they're gonna understand it. I'm telling you.
Man, there's a lot of memories.
There is.
Like I said, I mean, from the toys to the cartoons to the even just the vibe, the feeling of it it's nostalgia, man. And you see it all. You see people talking about the nostalgia of the 90s all the time. It was a good era. It was a really good era.
So I know there's a couple things like I definitely want to talk about, and like you've kind of already referenced them, but like let's talk about like the toys first.
Okay.
So like before we talk about like specific toys that you may remember or not remember, but like man, I remember being a kid and I don't know if tell me if you remember it the same way, but there was so many like toy stores.
Yeah. Dude, they were literal, like that's all they had was toys.
Yeah.
You didn't just go to Walmart.
Yeah, but even like if you throw in the Walmart game, like there was Kmart, there was Sears, there was Toys R Us,
KB Toys.
And then, like, there was like in these like little mom and pop shops that had all these toys. Like, you could literally go anywhere and get a toy.
Like in the small towns had those. They had very unique toys. They didn't have the mainstream toys, but man, I remember like KB Toys when you went to the mall. That's where you wanted to go.
Yeah,
KB Toys.
Yeah.
Hey, do you remember?
And like there was malls everywhere too. Like I mean, I remember like right here where I grew up, there was a mall in Oak Ridge, and like that doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-mm.
But like every little city you went to, there was like some sort of shopping center or a mall that you could go. And that was like when I was a kid, that was like the highlight of the trip because if you was good,
you got to go. You got to go to toys. Or at least even going to the toy store, but even without walking out or anything, that was a trip, man. Did you ever go to a KB Toys?
No, I never went to KB Toys.
It may have been called other things, but it was the toy store in the mall. But do you remember these little things? Like as soon as you walked into this store, there was like this little track. I still to this day I don't know what it was called, but it had these little things in it. These little like penguins or people or something, and they would like walk up these steps and go and it'd get up to the top, and then it'd let it go, and it'd slide down, and then it would do it again. You don't remember that? I do not remember that. Now I feel dumb because you don't remember that. Just judging by your face, you don't remember.
No joke. I don't. And actually, I'm gonna be honest with you. I looked up some toys from the like popular toys from the 90s.
Okay.
And then because like I was like I want to do my research a little bit because I had some remembered. So like like one I remember is like Tickle Me Elmo. Right?
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was a crazy.
I mean, that was huge. Oh yeah, that was
major.
That was
there
like
was fists thrown over her.
dude,
Over Tickle Me.
like, I remember,
literal fists.
There was this. I heard this comedian one time be like, if your parent didn't buy you Tickle Me Elmo, they didn't love you. Like, so, and I was like,
if they didn't go to the toy store and fight another parent for a Tickle Me Elmo, they didn't love
there
you.
was no love whatsoever. And like it'd be hard to grasp that concept as a child. Like at Christmas, you're not gonna Tickle
What do you
Me.
mean?
Mama don't love me. She didn't even Tickle Me Elmo. But yeah, that was like the craze, dude.
Yeah.
But do you? So what I talked about the other day was, or when I seen the other day, did you ever? Gosh, it was called Skip It.
Oh yeah.
Skip It.
Dude, Skip. No, I never had one. The neighborhood kids always had one, so I always had to use theirs. But, or you would find one at like a yard sale that had been sitting out in the rain and the mud for a little while, and it didn't really skip anymore.
Dude, listen, I just found out that it kept count the other day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had no idea. Dude, where I grew up at, we just had a wiffle ball tied to a string, and you just freaking slung that thing around. And if you're going to keep counting, you just had to keep counting yourself.
You just had to keep
I was talking to my wife. My wife's like, "Oh yeah, we see how high a count we could go." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, "Yeah, it kept count for you. How many times you could skip it?" And I was like, "I have no idea." Was it not just a wiffle ball on a string? She said no.
It was like this piece of plastic. It was like a wheel, right? And first of all, I don't know. You had to be a child to use this because this hoop, it didn't expand or flex or anything. It was a plastic ring that you had to stick your foot through.
Yeah.
So adults obviously couldn't use them, but you would skip it around and it would roll on the ground, and then it would give you extreme plastic burn on your ankle. So it was a lot of fun.
And that was one of the perks of being a nice kid. When toys came out, they were made just for kids. Like adults couldn't use them.
Yeah.
Like what you said.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's why where I grew up. Maybe that's why we had wiffle balls on strings so adults could play. So, I mean, all I could guess is, that would be terrible. Can you imagine? Like, I mean, if I was an adult, I'm gonna be honest with you. Skip It, so they need to come back.
Skip It.
Cool.
I could do a Skip It. Yeah.
I mean, I could go. There's another toy I got on here that I very vaguely remember. But Skip It's need to make a comeback. I would skip it like crazy.
Yeah, I would skip it. They need to redo the ankle bracelet. Okay. And not make it like handcuffs going around your legs.
I don't understand. Like, it was the 90s. They don't have any Velcro laying around anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a
plastic ring.
I'm pretty sure Velcro shoes came out in the 90s. I may be wrong, but they
did. Velcro shoes were awesome.
Velcro shoes were the best.
Velcro shoes were awesome until you got into middle school.
And then you realized that you could tie your own shoes.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Zip-up shoes? Did you ever have zip-up shoes?
No, I never had zip-ups.
I had a pair of Skechers that had one zipper. And it looked like a pair of pants, pretty much. And it just zipped right up the middle.
I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I don't know why we knock Velcro shoes so much because, like, I am lazy and I would rock some Velcro shoes right now. I mean, if they didn't look stupid, like if Nike came out with some cool Velcro shoes, I'd be wearing them.
Because I get so tired of tying my shoes. I don't even tie my shoes. I tie the knot so good that you never have to tie the knot ever again, and you just slide the shoe on.
My shoes are slip-on shoes, dress shoes. That's why I wear like most of the time. I'm like, I don't want to tie them.
I don't have time to tie shoes. I've got things to do. Like,
I was wearing shoes. I was wearing shoes today, and they came untied, and I was like, this is the worst. This is terrible.
Y'all go ahead. I'll be here a while.
But and so that last toy I looked up, and then I'll let you, if you got any toys you want to reminisce about. But did you remember the I may pronounce this wrong, but the Tamagotchis? Tamagotchis.
Yeah.
Did you have one?
I had several. There was also the Gigapet.
I remember that. I remember that one.
It was like the competitor to Tamagotchi, but man, Tamagotchis were cool.
Oh my gosh, those were massive. I mean, did you ever? I mean, my thing was is I didn't really enjoy that toy as a kid because, like, you know, after it dies in a day,
You have to start over.
Yeah. So I didn't have that much of a lifespan. You're talking to a kid that, like, I would get through the first gym on Pokemon and restart because I was just bored. So yeah, of course I couldn't keep up with an electronic animal alive for a few days, let alone weeks.
Yeah, I mean, so it was like really good for parents, I'm assuming, because they didn't actually have to buy an animal. So you just had this little electronic pet. But, you know, we didn't take care of those either because they died all the time, or you'd wake up and play with it after a couple of days because it got like stuck at the bottom of the toy box or something.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh yeah, and there'd be like poop all over the screen because you haven't cleaned up its poop. But yeah, what really sucked about, and a lot of toys were like this in the 90s, was like when it died, it didn't just restart. You had to have the smallest needle that imaginable and flip it over and stick it into the reset button in the back of it.
Yeah, all the reset buttons were like that in the 90s. I feel like companies were like, all right, we should give them a reset button. We should make it impossible to use.
Yeah. We don't want people accidentally pushing a button. So let's really think about this, guys.
Yeah, and needles were like the only thing that you could use.
Yeah. Do you remember the Furby?
Furby made a comeback, too.
A comeback?
Yeah, Furby came back a few years ago.
Did it?
Yeah, dude, it was like a big Black Friday thing. And
if I would have known that, I probably would have got one. The Furby was revolutionary.
I wasn't a Furby fan.
You weren't?
No. Mm-mm.
I talked to my grandma into finally getting me one. We went to the mall and she got me one and it was the only one left on the counter. It was probably not one that I wanted by choice, but it was the only one there, and it was like red, white, and blue. It was like an American Furby, you know? It was true blue American.
If I'm gonna get you a Furby, I'm gonna get you an American Furby.
Yeah, it was stars and stripes on its stomach. So you never had a Furby?
I had one, I just didn't like it. It was like not a thing. So I don't know. Like, I don't think I had a real one. I think I had like the small one. You remember when they had the small ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I had.
They were kind of terrifying.
They were. They they got a strong gremlin vibe. You know what I mean?
They were kind of scary. Even like, so you'd like be sleeping, you know, little 6-year-old Robert, right? He's sleeping.
Yeah.
It's dead of night. The crickets are chirping. And then you hear, and you wake up and you look across the room and this Furby's eyes are just
always looking at you.
So wide. And he goes, me hungry. And you're like,
I'm trying to sleep right now. So no joke. You know how many parents probably got out of having to like get their child a pet because of like the Furbies
and the Tamagotchis.
And, like, the Tamagotchi, yeah. And I mean, I'm sure it's the same way today. It's even actually probably easier today. But you're like, hey, you know, you gotta think if you're a parent, right? You know, you could probably vouch for this. But before you get your kid an animal, you'd probably much rather get him like a Hatchimal or something, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. We went that route, but we went both routes, as you know. We don't have those. We don't have those animals anymore. Parents, if you're thinking about getting a pet, really think about it.
And listen, I'm gonna be dead honest, and you gotta be honest too. Dalton asked me, and I was like, "Don't do it." Both times, I was like, "Hey, listen, don't get your kid a pet. It's not worth it."
No.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. No, we can handle it.
Yeah.
That's what we said. I should have listened to you.
1 week later, call me. Hey, I can't live like this. I'm like, really? You can't? I feel like I told you that you couldn't live like this.
Not one, not 2 times, but 3. We went down this road 3 times. We tried a puppy. Didn't work. Then we were like, well, we'll just maybe get like a mid-sized dog that already knows what's going on. You ain't got to teach it nothing.
Mm-hmm. No.
Round 2, and then the cats came.
And you say the cats for you because you're like, cats clean up after themselves. You don't have to walk cats.
Cats don't clean up after themselves.
But that's the thought process. You know, if you got a dog, you got to walk it. If you get a cat, the cat is cool. The cat takes care of itself. That's not how it works. That's false advertising.
There's a lot of poop. I mean, there's a lot, dude. I didn't know that like a cat can use the bathroom that much, but it's a lot.
Yeah, it's weird. And then like,
and you don't even feed it that much. You even contemplate. You're like, I'm not gonna feed you today because I don't want to clean up after you. Which you mean you obviously feed it because you don't want to.
The problem with cats is the litter.
All
it gets everywhere. It's like living at the beach, dude.
You wake up in the middle of the night and go get you a drink of water, and the cat, even the litter box is miles away from your bedroom, but you still step in litter somehow.
Yeah, you're like, how did this happen? It's like they carried it in there intentionally.
Parents, get an electronic pet. Get them a Tamagotchi or something. Do it.
Learning from the 90s kids, look, we're doing just fine.
We're doing just fine here.
Great. We're doing great, and we had electronic pets.
Yeah, I mean, look at me.
I even think in the 90s. Was it in the 90s when they had those little dogs that would walk themselves with the leash? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It would go like, and it would stop, and it go.
So, sticking on the toy train for just a second. Oh wait, did you have another toy?
Mm-mm. It was just Furbies, man. Furbies, dude. It was a craze. It was crazy.
So two other things, and one's pretty broad, but and like it's still big today. But like toy commercials, I remember like watching a toy commercial as a child and being like, I've got to get those,
so I can blow up buildings.
Bad. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The commercial was like, if I have that toy, I can do exactly what they're doing. And they'd be like flying through the sky, whatever the toy was, blowing up a building, and you're like, oh, that toy can breathe fire.
Yeah, and it was always everything was $19.99.
Yeah.
Every toy. It doesn't matter how big, small it was always $19.99. And if you called now, like
but wait.
There was exactly. But there was one toy. I never got this toy. I never received this toy, Dalton, and I always wanted to. But do you remember the moon shoes?
Moon shoes? Okay, so I heard about them.
Yes.
But I never got them.
I never got them either, but like
there was a lot of stuff my parents wouldn't buy me.
It literally was like these kids jumping to the moon, and I was like, if I had those shoes, I could jump to the moon.
Did you have some?
No, I never got them.
Did your parents buy you
they look
toys?
So stupid. I know now as an adult, I look at those, I'm like, I am so glad I never got those. But as a child,
like
I wanted
this thick. Yeah.
Oh, they're huge. You couldn't even walk. Like I swear, like you'd probably bust your face so many times on the ground if you had to do, like, no joke, if you literally had to wear those. Like it's just not. I don't even know how they work. I guess they work like an accordion or whatever.
Yeah.
But another huge hit craze in the 90s was slime.
Slime's back.
Slime is back.
Slime is back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
It's
slime.
everywhere.
The 90s was just the birth of slime.
Yeah.
And it was because of Nickelodeon.
Yeah, Nickelodeon coined that. I mean, it was Slime Time Live and everything.
Yeah.
Double Dare 2000. Dude,
everything,
anything that anybody did, they were getting slimed.
And,
like,
and you wanted to watch it. You're like, oh, he's gonna get slimed.
Watch this.
He's gonna get slimed. I don't know why that was so exciting as a child.
I know what it's like. Okay, so I mean, they would get buckets of slime.
Yeah.
So I know what it's like just getting like a pea-sized amount of slime out of a carpet. It's not easy. It's not fun. I don't want slime in around my house, but it's always here. Slime's always here. But I couldn't imagine what it was like getting it out of your hair and out of your clothes. I couldn't imagine.
No, oh my gosh, it would be absolutely awful. But like I remember, like, what was that show where they had like the gang? I think you just named it, but like where it was the kids versus the celebrities. And it was just normal. It was like normal kids versus the Nickelodeon celebrities.
Was it the one where they were standing outside?
Yeah. But if they lost, they would get slime.
Yeah, I think that was Slime
Like
Time
over
Live.
top of them.
I don't know what the game,
Yeah.
the premise of the game was.
So, but I always remember being like, I'd love to be one of those kids.
I would love to get slime on me.
I'd love to get slimed, which is
Dude, there were so many like kid shows. I mean, like kids were always on TV. Like, I mean, we have kids on TV now, but I mean, like it made you want to go to freaking Nickelodeon Studios and just go hang out.
Oh, Nickelodeon. I don't know when Nickelodeon came out. If I had to guess, it'd be the 90s.
It had to be.
That's when
I mean, that was prime time.
But I mean, Nickelodeon's of course still a staple today when it comes to kids TV. But that was just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, because you look at, and that was one of the things, other than toys, TV shows is something I think about when it comes to the 90s.
The shows were amazing. I still watch the shows. I go and look for the shows just so I can reminisce on them. What was your favorite show?
Oh my gosh!
If you had to pick one Nickelodeon show.
Nickelodeon show?
Nickelodeon show. Because, I mean, we had a lot of networks. I mean, you had Cartoon Network, Disney, and all that. But Nickelodeon, because when I think 90s, I think Nickelodeon.
I do too. I think Nickelodeon is obviously like the prime time or Big Boss. But Nickelodeon, I mean, it has to be SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
Yeah.
SpongeBob's great.
SpongeBob's still going strong. Like, good job. Like, hey, hats off to you,
Hats off, SpongeBob.
Way to go. I mean, you are still trucking, and I'm very surprised. And like, SpongeBob was late 90s.
Yeah.
But Nickelodeon, other than SpongeBob, like Fairly Odd Parents would probably be like a close second.
Okay.
And which was, I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna have to look this up because I'm very.
While you're looking at it, mine was Rocket Power.
Yeah. Rocket Power was a good show.
Rocket Power was, man, I wanted to be Otto Rocket so bad. I wanted to be him, and what was the other kid's name? The dumb one. There was always a dumb kid in every show. Dumb kid.
Yeah.
What's his name? Twister.
Yeah. I had Rocket Power. I had the video game on Game Boy.
Dude, that was a sweet game.
It was. You could drive that scooter.
Yeah.
And you could like spin that scooter and knock people out. It was great. I still got it. I'm pretty sure I still got it back there.
You still have the game or the Game Boy?
No, both.
You still have your Game Boy?
Yeah, I got Game Boy Color.
Holy crap! How did you hold on to that?
Well, dude, I don't get rid of nothing. I'm a hoarder.
That's good stuff to hoard. I want to buy a Game Boy Color.
I got Game Boy Color. Hey, it's the Rocket Power is a Game Boy Advance game. So
I don't. Nah. Game Boy Advance. I'm
50-50 on it. So Fairly Odd Parents actually came out in 2001. If we're clarifying that 2004 range.
But see how you think of the 90s. This is what I'm saying. When you think of the 90s, you don't. I mean, the 2001 was. That feels like yesterday.
It does. And then SpongeBob was 99. So right there.
SpongeBob started in 99.
Yeah, I actually thought it was I was actually thinking mid 90s for SpongeBob, so I had that a little bit.
That's
crazy. That a little bit off. So but those are probably my two favorites as kids. And then of course, what about Disney? If you had to pick one for Disney.
Now, are we talking cartoon or are we talking like the real people? Like real people shows?
Do each. One of each.
When I think Disney, man, I think Disney Channel original movies, like Johnny Tsunami or Brink, or Motocross, dude. I mean, and they're all on Disney Plus. Shout out Disney Plus for bringing back the '90s for us. I appreciate you. I remember when I first got Disney Plus, and I text you and said Disney Plus is amazing, and I was sending you screenshots.
Of all the movies
and you said, "Are you really even gonna watch all those?" And I said, "Yeah." You like, no, you're not.
You're not watching movies.
As a matter of fact, I did. So thank you. You're always doubting me.
Oh Lord.
You always doubt me on anything that I want to do. You're like, "Oh, okay. How long is that gonna last?"
Yeah, it's not long at all because I know you. Hey, I'm calling it right now, podcast people. If we quit this podcast soon, it's Dalton's fault.
No.
Oh, it's because he's just like, I don't want to do this anymore, Robert. This is boring.
That's just I'm running out of ideas, man. And we're just the viewers
So
over
what
here.
was-
They don't want to listen to us, and they think you're really dumb. And I've got to disassociate with you if I want to be
I don't
successful.
doubt that at all. There's not a single person out there that's going to hear this and not be like, that guy's dumber than a box of rocks when they hear me. There's no doubt. Because you
Hey.
people judge. And just to let y'all know, I'm pretty smart. I went to college for a couple years.
Yeah, well, what was it? Community college?
Yeah.
Where'd you
it
go
was,
to college at? You went to
I went
college
to
in
college.
Tennessee, right?
Yeah, Rome State.
Yeah.
Yeah. If y'all ever want to know, it's pretty lame college. It's just a community college.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a
judging
great-
by your intelligence, you didn't learn anything. Yeah, I feel like you might have been
Nah.
smarter at one point in time.
I feel like I got just as much now as I've always had. It was some point in middle school where I was like, I think I'm tapped out. I think this is good. I think
The rim. It's to the top of the glass, man. It's
at where I'm at right now is like as high as I'm gonna get. So this is just a waste. This is, the next 4 years is not gonna happen. So what was your favorite cartoon?
for Disney.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. That's what's crazy about Disney is I don't really remember that many cartoons. I remember a lot of live action. That's why that's why I wanted clarification. I don't remember many cartoons. Maybe you could refresh my memory.
The one that we used to watch, I'm pretty sure it was on Disney, but it was Gargoyles.
That was yeah,
Was it not on Disney?
but I think it came on WB.
Did it?
Right here on the WB.
And if I have to talk about a real person movie, my favorite movie was Up, Up and Away.
What's that?
Did you ever watch that one? It was about the superheroes. It came out in 2000.
Yes.
And their powers went away due to aluminum foil.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's stupid. But I remember when I think of real person movies, I think of Up, Up and Away, and I think of Xenon. It was that.
Oh,
what it was called?
Zoom.
There was like 3 movies.
Make my heart.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Yeah. No, yeah, you know that. You should do like you should do like a ballad of that or something.
Yeah. Smart
I'd
House.
like to see that. Yes, no, that one, that was, dude, that made me think, that made me fear technology.
Let me tell you, we are living Smart House now. I mean, have you thought about it? Have you gone back and actually watched that movie?
No, I haven't watched it in a long time.
Go back and watch it. It's kind of scary because I mean, all the things that all the technology that was in that house, we pretty much have all of it. I mean, they had a little virtual assistant that they could ask for pretty much anything, and she would do it. Cook food or turn on the lights, turn on the TV.
Well, that's, yeah, we're pretty much there. But that house actually really made me scared of like technology. That movie.
When she
Made me fear
when she gets angry, you remember that scene?
Oh, dude. Oh,
That
Lord.
is, oh man.
And Gargoyles is Disney.
Was it Disney from the
Walt
start? Like,
Disney Production. Yeah,
Wow.
it was created by Walt Disney Production. Yeah, because I remember being a kid, Mom used to let me stay up late to watch Gargoyles because the new episode would come on like at 9 or 10 or something like that. And I got the treat that one night a week to stay up and watch it. I was addicted to Gargoyles.
I used to play.
Yeah, actually, I have them on DVD right now.
I used to
I love
play
them.
play a game in the shower when I was a kid called Gargoyles. And
Really?
yeah, this is it's embarrassing, but I'm gonna open up my heart and become vulnerable for you guys. Make fun of me.
Okay, this will be great.
So you leave the shower running. When you're a kid, you stay in the shower forever. It's just it's fun. Well, I
It's
would
playtime.
pretend. Yeah, it's playtime. My son does it now too. So, so I would treat the shower like it was rain, right?
Yeah.
And I'd be trying to crawl up a building, which would be the bottom of the bathtub. And I'd get to the top of the building, and then which is the top of the bathtub, and then I'd slide down, and that was the game. For 15, 20 minutes, it's just me trying to crawl up the bathtub, but that was my game, Gargoyles.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was
That sounds like a really fun game. You're probably gonna try it tomorrow. You're probably gonna be like, let me just see.
I'm not big enough to. Have you tried to lay in a bathtub? Like
Oh, dude,
now, as an
no.
adult, my knees like come up. Like I have to lay a leg out of the bathtub just to be able to fit.
Yeah. You got to pick upper body or lower body.
Yeah, you're
body
never
would be
fully
underwater?
submerged or just belly.
Yeah. Or you're rich and you have like a huge tub.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that's your options.
I know you use what's that thing that you got in your backyard that you take a bath in?
The
Cycling
pond. No, I use the koi pond. I got out back. I just go bathe in it. I'm like, oh, this looks great.
Yeah, I never watched Gargoyles though. I
The
didn't.
Gargoyles was magnificent. I really liked it. And then also, I mean, real person. I mean, every time I can't help but think of when I think of old Disney shows, I can't help but think of Shia LaBeouf, dude.
Yeah, even Stevens, baby.
Even Stevens, man. That show was huge.
He had fashion.
Yeah, so you knew the movies, the shows that were big were the ones that got movies after them.
Oh yeah. I like Shia
So-
LaBeouf's fashion. He always had like a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember
And then,
90s fashion was great?
Oh, there was like, but it was so. I'm gonna use the word whimsical. That's a big word for me, guys.
Everyone,
it was
hold on,
so.
stop. Don't talk. Big word. Big word.
But
Go,
no,
Robert.
it was so like not caring. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. Nothing matched.
No, nothing at all. Like it's a crime to go out and not match today.
I remember my favorite. My mom. So you remember school shopping before school? You go and get a whole bunch of clothes, get ready for the school year. My mom
Yeah.
bought me these pair of pants, and she bought me like 6 pair of the same pants because I loved them this much. Do you remember zip off pants that turned into
Yeah.
shorts?
Yeah. It had a little seam that would fold over so you wouldn't see the zipper.
Yeah.
It had a little fold over fabric.
So if you're at recess and you got a little hot, you could
Yeah.
unzip your
I don't know, I always did it I always did it like it was time. Oh, we're gonna play this game. Hang on a second.
Let me take the
Oh,
bottom half off of my pants.
Yeah, it was nothing big if you was going out there and be like, oh, we're gonna throw some football or we're gonna run around. But it's like, oh, you gonna bring Red Rover up? All right, hang on.
Let me zip.
Do my pants.
So I never knew where to put my shorts that came off the pants though. You
Yeah, no, they had no idea. Hey, and putting them back on was a
Dude,
nightmare.
that's a task.
When they were off. They were off. They were just off. They were just like, Mom will get these.
I got to the point where I would just unzip them and just let them fall, and they would sit on top of my shoes. So they just became
There's nowhere to put 'em.
they just top.
I think at one point I used to put them like on my arms. Like you would just like, all right, these can go right here.
These can go here.
Yeah. I'll just store these things up right here.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, it was those were oh man, the fashion was great. Wow, that was crazy.
I remember
I actually totally forgot about zip off pants.
whenever you would go pants shopping or clothes shopping for school, you always had
Yeah.
to make sure that your pockets could fit what? I'm gonna give you a little trivia.
Oh gosh, I'm not good at trivia, but let's do it.
When you went school shopping, what had to fit in your pockets? Pockets had to be big.
Man, I don't know.
A CD player.
Oh gosh. You see, I didn't go through. You see, now music wasn't. I never been like a huge fan of music.
So you didn't. Whoa.
No, listen, I had a CD
Come on
player.
now.
and stuff,
You didn't have a
but
CD
I wasn't
player.
like. I had a CD player, but I wasn't like. I had like a bunch of CDs and stuff. Like if I was carrying around anything, it was like a VHS tapes. So if I went to a friend's house, I could like, hey, I got a movie, bro.
When it's sleepover time, you bring your whole.
Oh, yeah.
I'm bringing all my movies.
You use your chin. Use your chin. Yeah, and show. Like, and like that was where the whole. I remember renting movies. It was the Please Be Kind and Rewind.
Oh my god, it was a
Then there was
sin.
nothing-
If I popped in a movie that I just read,
Oh.
and I
Yeah.
had to rewind it before I could watch it, I curse everyone who did not rewind.
So did you know-
Shame on you.
So did you know this? And like, I mean, I knew it, but if you let the movie play all the way out, it would automatically rewind.
Yeah. And then it would
And I'm
auto,
like-
and then it would autoplay again. So if you fell asleep watching
Yeah.
it, you would hear it end, and click,
Yeah.
and then it would go, and you'd hear it running, and then it'd start playing again.
So you remember? Oh, dude, listen, bringing up VHSs. Do you remember like I want to watch my favorite part of this movie, right? And you'd have to be like, and that you could either stop and rewind, which was super fast. Or you had to rewind it live.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could rewind it live. Like, oh, like you try to hit it and time it out. Be like, listen, it happens like 5 minutes from now, but we're just gonna watch
We're
it.
going to watch it because I won't be able to get it to stop on that part that I want you to see.
There's no way we get it stopped in time.
Remember the fuzz when you would like watch VHS tapes? Like when you were like fast forward and rewind, like it was like fuzzy at the tops of the screen.
Yeah,
and it would take a little while to like focus in, and then the movie would come back on.
Did you ever have one where it would climb the screen? Yeah. Like you would, like all the way up, and then you'd be like, yeah, it started over. You'd be like, oh, okay, that's over. And then you're like, oh no, it's not. It's back.
But you just dealt with it because you you had no other choice.
You'd even be like, oh, this video's pretty high quality. You know, they got a line in it.
This one's only got one line in it, guys. This is high quality.
CDs were the same way. So like, my sister loved music, like loved, and like she would always make.
I still am.
She'd always make her own CDs. You know, that was a thing. You know, oh, I'm gonna put my 10 favorite songs on this disc. This is gonna be my hot disc.
This
or
is
whatever
my
you want to call it.
Friend Mix 1998.
Yeah, and I remember like that was when if you went back in time to my house when I was a child and literally looked at my computer, right up above it would have been a stack of CDs where she was always making. She was always making CDs. Yeah, but always.
It wasn't legal.
No, it wasn't legal. Anything that we did was not legal.
No.
Like even through the 2000s, like when the iPods became popular.
Yeah, none of that music was legal.
Yeah, you talk about like LimeWire.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
I got movies off LimeWire.
Yeah. You would give your computer aids to listen to a song.
Yeah, exactly. And then I remember when do you remember when LimeWire went down when like
oh yeah,
I guess it got busted or whatever.
They cracked it.
Yeah, it was like, hey, listen, I remember it was 2 days later my friend was like, you know, LimeWire's down. It's hard to get music down. I was like, well, where are you getting your music from? He was like, I'm going to FrostWire. I'm like, I wonder if that's the same company. And like, you log into FrostWire, it's literally the same thing now. It's just blue instead of green. And I was like, I'll use FrostWire now. You know, I was like, sounds a lot like LimeWire.
Sounds a lot like LimeWire, but so
yeah.
Do you remember whenever a CD wouldn't work? What did you do when a CD wouldn't play right?
You could burn it onto a new CD.
Or
that's what we used to do.
You could lick it.
I never. No, you're making something up right now.
You never licked CDs?
No, you are lying right now, dude. This is a lie.
No. So when a CD would get dirty, you would lick it and dry it off with your shirt. Like if it had like a really bad like fingerprint smudge, you would lick it.
No.
Am I the only one? Please don't tell me I'm the only one that licked CDs.
All right, you better hope chat pulls through for you right now, because
they're not. Chat, please come through for me. Chat, I need you so such a bad way right now.
If there's anybody that listens to this, you can email This Is The Thing podcast contact at gmail.com. Please tell us if you've licked CDs.
Or in the review. It'll be easier in the review. Put it in the review. If you guys licked CDs, put it in the review. I need to know. So, Robert won't give me crap for this for the rest of my life.
I am giving you crap starting right now because there's no. How does that fix it? Did it fix it?
It fixed it.
There's no way.
I remember when they came out with CD players that you didn't have to lick your CDs anymore. They were skipless CD players.
I'm about to go get a CD and like scratch it and lick it.
No, it wasn't if they were scratched. Sometimes if you licked it just right, it would work.
I remember when CDs and DVDs came out, you would try to when you played old video games, you would blow on it to get them to work.
Yeah.
And you'd always get a CD player and be like, well, maybe,
Yeah, maybe. It worked for
This
video
may
games.
work. Yeah, it worked for my Game Boy. I don't know why this would. I don't know why this would.
I never
work.
licked the inside of my CD player though. It was just the CD.
Now, I think that's messed up. Someone's lied to you somewhere.
Yeah.
Or something. Something has went wrong.
Skipless CD players though were cool because you could carry them around in your pocket, and like
Yeah.
if you were wearing your cargo shorts, your real baggy cargo shorts or whatever, and they would and the CD player would bang up against your legs, it wouldn't make the CD skip.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty cool.
I was a music.
Yeah.
I was a fiend for music. Soundtracks were major in the 90s.
Yeah. The music was huge in the 90s. Soundtracks were big in the 90s because, like, I remember, like, when movies and stuff would come out, you would get the soundtrack
Space Jam.
to Space Jam. Like, Space Jam is probably the go-to soundtrack.
Yeah.
The,
Greatest songs. Greatest hits.
I can listen to I Believe I Can Fly right now. And dance to it.
I
or
love
sing
at
to
the
it
end. I
or
love when
dance to
he gets so powerful at the end of that song. R.
it. He
Kelly.
does.
He has a choir in that song.
Yeah, what is he doing now? Is he still doing music?
Let's not talk about R. Kelly. That's a topic for another podcast.
Let's not go there.
You don't want to go with R.
Music
Kelly right
was
now.
huge. And like it was every kind of music.
Yeah.
So like even like if I had to pick one genre of music, this may become a surprise to all of our listeners out there, but if I had to pick a fave, probably be country.
No, look, I knew you were gonna say it, but look, I don't listen to country now, but '90s country was
Oh,
boy
the 90s country is the best.
the best.
best.
The best.
You would rock out to 90s country right now.
I would.
I can rock out to 90s country right now.
I get in a vibe sometimes where I just want to hear '90s country.
But but there was so many different kinds of music. I mean, like, and there was
It was the boy
in
band
the
era,
90s,
dude.
boy band era. I mean, Nirvana. You think about like,
All right, I was a '90s kid, but I guess I didn't listen to Nirvana like as an 8 or a 9-year-old. I mean,
I didn't either. No,
You know what I mean? But I mean, I listen to Nirvana now, and I'm like, well, this was in the '90s. I mean, this was grunge.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was. I was a kid in the '90s, like a real kid. So it was boy bands. It was Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
I mean, I'd be even willing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I would be willing to say that's where like pop music was born.
Well, besides Michael Jackson, I mean, a lot of it came from Michael Jackson.
Yeah. I totally give credit to that. But like, it would become like where it just wasn't just one person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and mainly because of all this boy band stuff.
They
and,
gave
like,
birth.
Hey, we're not even gonna talk about boy band. We're talking about girl bands too, dude.
Who you
I
got?
mean, that was a big
Go ahead.
thing.
Drop them.
I mean, you got like the Pussycat Dolls,
Spice
you got
Girls.
like Spice Girls. Dude, I mean, there's a list. There's a list, bro.
Yeah.
The bands, boy bands and girl bands, was very, very popular during
I
that
love
time.
boy bands, dude.
But yeah, dude, I can listen to Backstreet Boys.
There's a lot.
I mean, I can care. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a big NSYNC fan. Sorry, NSYNC.
Oh, man.
If y'all listen to this NSYNC,
NSYNC
I mean,
was
that's a
really
good song.
poppy. NSYNC was really poppy, but Backstreet Boys was like
yeah, Backstreet Boys was awesome, dude.
eat your
And,
heart out.
hey,
You know what I mean?
Backstreet Boys have made a comeback also, and I love it.
Yeah.
They're doing some. Hey, you guys go. You know, y'all
Go
are doing
Backstreet
great.
Boys. I mean, it's
Y'all keep-
been
y'all keep doing what
it's
you
been
do.
almost 30 years. Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, the Backstreet Boys is just great. And then 98 Degrees.
Oh man,
Dude, they did. You know why I like 98 Degrees?
why?
Because I like the movie Mulan, and they did like the soundtrack for Mulan. They
you serious?
covered the songs. They covered some of the songs.
I
Like they
did
had a
not
CD
even.
dedicated to. Because there's like a video of Nick Lachey chasing Mulan around,
I didn't even know that.
singing a song from there. Yeah. So like, I'm not saying they did the soundtrack.
That
right,
movie was
but they
good. It was a
did
good
some-
movie.
It was a good movie. And but yeah, I haven't watched the new one yet. Have you seen the new one?
That's what that's what I thought we were talking about.
The one that just came out?
Yeah, I thought you were talking about 98 Degrees.
No, I'm talking about the Disney, the old one.
So they did the soundtrack for the cartoon one.
No, they didn't do the soundtrack for it. They
Well,
did
they
like
did
redid
like some of the songs. But,
Yeah, yeah, they did some of the songs.
But yeah, the new one's really good. The new one is
I watched
fantastic.
it, I just don't know how the new one's going to be without Mushu.
It was pretty good.
I have to look it up. I guess I have to look it up and watch it. But no, it is. Yeah, the music was huge. Yeah, especially 90s country. That's where it was at for sure.
What about like kid places? You remember those? Like obviously Chuck E. Cheese, but there's one place that really stands out to me. Discovery Zone.
You see, we had this place called. I don't. There was never a Discovery Zone around here that I remember.
My wife said there was.
What'd you say, Heather? Heather said there's one in Knoxville. I am wrong.
It was major. How did?
The main place that we used to go to was called Celebration Station.
There you go. Yeah, she talks about that. She talks about that one too.
Celebration Station was like the go-to place. Mainly probably because it was cheaper and it was really run down. It was a terrible place.
Do you remember? Yeah, I mean, freaking ball pits, slides. Yeah. I mean, it was just a jungle gym of stinky feet and children.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think them jungle gym things were popular at fast food restaurants. But, they started really coming out during, I think, around that time.
I remember
you'd eat your food. Yeah, you'd eat your food as fast as you could to go play in the jungle gym.
You remember when we took Corbin to the Burger King?
Yeah, we let your kid play in the jungle gym at Burger King. It looks like me and Dalton. We're sitting there. We have a kid. Yeah. And we're like, we're not together. We're just gonna let this kid play.
I remember the big uproar that came out close towards the end of the 90s that put the death to ball pits. Do you remember what happened?
I think someone like get stuck in one or something? Wasn't there there was like a big accident?
Well, people were someone put a snake in one.
Yeah.
And then they were starting to put syringes in them.
Oh, no, I don't remember that, but I remember I remember playing on them and kids would always pee on them. In the ball pits and in the jungle gyms, that was always a thing.
Shut up. Now you're gonna give me crap. Were you peeing in the play place?
No, I was not. No, someone up there. There was always some kid that shouldn't have been up there.
You were peeing in the play place.
In the jungle gym. No, I would not do that. And you'd get there and be like, "Well, this stinks," and you'd have to leave, and you'd have to go the way you came. You didn't get to see the whole thing. It was so depressing. You'd be like, your one goal is to get to the car at the top and look out the windshield and say, "Hey, Mom, what's up? I made it up here. I'm going down the slide now."
No, it wasn't get up to the top and say, "Hey, Mom." It was get up to the top and get into that little bubble window thing and bang on it. Mom, I'm up here.
You had to fight like 3 kids off to even get to it.
But it sounds like this. Woo! I'm up here.
That's exactly how it worked. And I usually did the jungle gym once, but yeah, kids. I remember kids would always. I had 2 or 3 instances. I remember being a kid and being like, "We're not gonna play in the jungle gym no more."
I don't know where you went, but I never had a pee incident. So they were just having accidents because they were excited.
It's accidents. No, I mean they were.
I thought you were talking kids their goal was to go up to the top of it and pee in it.
No, it was accidents. It was and here's the thing, what kind of adult takes a newborn baby and here, get through this, you can do it. Yeah. All of us can't fit in here. Hope you can make it.
I hope you don't get stuck in there because I can't come get you.
They always got the 2-year-old kid with the 6-year-old kid, and they're like, "All right, listen, you need to watch him. You make sure he can make it through here and be careful." And I'm like, that's the worst idea ever.
Well, thinking nowadays, that's crazy. But dude, I used to go down the road by myself on my bike. Miles from my house. And my parents were just don't come home till the street lights come on.
I did the same thing. So talking about Halloween coming up, we lived in a subdivision for a while, and it was just I went trick or treating by myself.
Yeah, so did I.
It was you just go walk up and down the street.
I would never let my kid do that these days. That's insane that my parents would let me go anywhere I wanted to by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know. You just be like, all right, you know where the house is at. Just come back here when you're done.
When the street lights come on is when you can come back to this house. My parents didn't want me. They didn't want me in the house. I kind of feel like now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, maybe they just didn't like me. It was like,
you go outside.
7 o'clock in the morning. Get outside.
You need to go wait for the bus. The bus won't be here for an hour. Go wait on the bus.
Go wait on the bus.
You missed the bus, I'm gonna be mad. But yeah, dude, it was
There's a lot of good activities.
Play areas were huge.
Yeah.
They went big. And like these days, you know, you go to a mall or something, and they got like one little car or something.
So what is
I'm
this?
like, these little tiny setups, yeah, you're like, this is terrible. Like, we've downgraded.
And it's all like cushioned and pillow. It's safe.
For kids. Yeah, fun places for kids these days have like majorly downgraded. There's not as many stores. There's not as many stores.
No.
There's not as many there's no more Celebration Station.
There's no more toy stores.
And let's be honest, like the places that are like around us, for instance, like the Main Event and adventure parks, like those are for older kids. Those aren't really that's not for middle school, high schoolers.
And adults.
It's not, and adults. It's not really for I'm talking like 10 and under.
Yeah, like.
So.
Trampoline parks are not meant for 4-year-olds.
Yeah, no. And like rollerblading, skate arenas. Yeah, skate arenas, they are like. Those, I couldn't say roller skating arena. I don't know. I just lost my.
Why did you call it a roller skating arena? Like it's an event.
I don't know.
I mean, it kind of was an event. If you were going to the skating rink, you were going there and you were about to get it. You were about to get it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember being jealous of the one kid that could. Yeah, I was jealous of the one kid that could do it better than me. You know, which was a lot. There was a lot of kids that could do it better than me.
The number one rule on the sign of the skating rink was no speed skating. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, but you did it anyway.
Yeah, you did it anyway.
Well, you probably thought you were going fast, but if you look at it, you're just like, "Woo, he is taking a long time." I always hated roller skating, and you know, like you start losing it, and you're like, no.
Do you remember the Wipeout? They would play the Wipeout song when you were at the skating rink.
No. I don't
Did we grow up in the same era? I mean, everything.
No,
you didn't lick CDs. You didn't listen to the Wipeout song. Ask Heather if she remembers the Wipeout song at the skating rink.
Heather, do you remember the Wipeout song at the skating rink?
I went to the skating rink.
Never went to a skating rink.
All right, that's cool. This is good. This is good conversation.
Man, listen, guys. If you could contact, this is.
If you could leave it in the.
If you all remember this song.
Let me know if you remember the Wipeout song.
You grew up in a different 90s than what I did.
Let me tell you about the Wipeout song. All right, so you know the oh, Wipeout. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whenever it would say "ha, Wipeout," you would fall on the ground, and you were roller skating.
Oh no, I think I do. I think I do remember that.
So you would be skating really, really fast because your goal was to fall as hard as possible. Don't know why, because it really hurt. I mean, and the skating rink is made of wood.
Yeah.
But your goal was to see how hard you could fall.
I do think I remember that. But also, the skating ring that we had, they used to make you play red light, green light all the time.
That one, yeah. And if you moved, you got you're out.
Yeah. Or you had to go to the back. You had to start over. And I remember, like, now when I think about it, I'm like, how are you supposed to stop when you're on wheels? Like, that was so dumb.
If I could go back, I'd probably be very strategic about it and go really, really slow.
I always hated it, true, because then you could stop.
Yeah.
I remember being angry at how good the workers were at skating.
In the ref shirt?
They would just be skating backwards.
Yeah.
You good? You okay? All right, cool.
You guys good? All right, and then he would take off and go, take another lap.
Same thing with the Sonic workers. Like, they need to listen.
Sonic.
It's Sonic. Listen, Sonic. I know y'all are, this isn't an advertisement or anything.
Sonic.
But if y'all could y'all need to bring back the servers on rollerblades or skates, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to give them.
Bring it back, people. Listen. Why did we go away?
Listen, I'm upping my tip right then and there.
I don't tip.
Listen, you can add $1. You can add. Yeah, I do. I don't either. Well, I do half and half. Like my wife gets mad because she's like, "You don't tip at Sonic," and I'd be like, "Well, they're just literally just carrying it out here.
If they were on rollerblades,
Like, it is not
I'd
that
tip
far." I mean, if they had a window, I'd walk up and get it just to keep me from.
you're
having
almost
to-
there anyway.
Yeah, pretty much, right? So, but if they're on blades or skates, Bro's laying out some money. Now, I have seen, but I'm sure you have too. I have seen a Sonic dude wipe out before on some skates.
Food, drinks, change, all of it. I love
Yeah,
Sonic when they have
but,
the little change clicker.
Yeah. Did you ever have that one real cocky and arrogant guy that was on skates that would bring you your food?
Yeah,
He'd roll in like backwards and be like, "Did you get the number 2
with the corn dog ketchup.
Yeah, and then he'd be like, "Yeah, I got your large sweet tea right here." Like he'd just be spinning and stuff, and you'd be like,
All this is unnecessary. I just need my freaking
Yeah.
corn dog.
"You're,
Dude.
you're still making minimum wage. If you could just give me my food, I will be more than glad to move on."
You don't have to do all that. I'm gonna tip you. I mean, you're on rollerblades.
They need to bring it back. I don't know if that could be a requirement. Like when you fill out a Sonic. Like a
Application.
Sonic application, can you use roller skate? No, just get out.
Just
Yeah,
out. Why would you even come here?
yeah. What job are you applying for? I'd like to be the one that delivers the food. Can you roller skate? No. What were you thinking? At what point did you think you was going to get this
Thanks
job?
for wasting my time. Now get the out. Get out.
I want you to leave out here so fast. And you know what would make you leave faster is if you was on roller skates, and you're not, because you're terrible. You're just absolutely awful.
Oh man. Not again. Well, Robert, I think we're frozen
Yeah.
again. Are you there?
I look good.
You're back. You're back. We froze.
Yeah, I'm there.
We froze.
Hey, you know,
Again.
we have technical difficulties.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you froze again, actually.
So we're
Oh, no, you're
working
there.
on it. You know,
But yeah.
we're working on getting this thing up and running real good. So there's one more thing that I want to talk about before we wrap up because we're at the hour 5.
Yeah.
We're at the hour mark.
Yeah.
AOL.
Oh yeah. I think we mentioned something about this a little bit the other
I
day.
feel like AOL was the birth of the internet. I mean,
Everybody had an AOL account.
everybody. It was like the only thing that you could get. It was America Online. If you lived in America,
Mm-hmm.
you had AOL.
And you see, that was and we kind of talked about this a little bit the other day, but we talking about like computers and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and the internet. Like, I didn't do a lot of internet stuff in the '90s. I had a computer,
Yeah.
and I mean, it was slow. It was like a 1995 Compaq computer, and it had the little Microsoft symbol.
Windows
When it loaded
95.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I told you the other day I was not going to tell you what we used to do with that computer, and I'm going to tell you real quick because you're going to think this is the funniest thing ever.
What'd you used to do
But
with
this
this computer?
computer,
This doesn't sound
so
good.
this
but
computer,
let's go.
this is I don't even want to say this. This is embarrassing. So we had this huge computer, and it had the speakers on the side. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
They like hung on the computer,
Yeah.
and it had a speaker on the sides that had a microphone built into the top of it.
Yeah.
It had just a little circle with little slits in it, right?
Mhm.
And that was the microphone. So we didn't really have internet or anything. So we would I don't even know if I want to finish this now. But
You have to finish it now.
we would open up the sound recorder,
Oh man.
and we would, our favorite thing to do was to fart into the microphone and speed it up or slow it down. Because on the sound recorder, you could change the settings, and then we would sing songs and crack jokes, and then we would speed it up or slow it down. And dude, we had them saved. I saved this 1995. I had this Compaq computer for like 20 years before I got rid of it, just so I could continue to plug it in and listen to these sound recordings that I made when I was like 8 years old. I would be there. I'd be like, and we'd be sitting there. This is no lie. I cannot believe I'm even sharing this. But we would be like, my mom, my parents didn't even care. They're like, y'all are so stupid. That's what they would tell us. You would have to get in the chair. We'd have to get up and stand in the chair and put our butt as close to this microphone as we could, because you wouldn't hear it. I mean, it's not like a high end mic. I mean, you would get there, you'd be standing there, like, all right, you hit record. I'm ready.
I'm ready. It's here. It's here. Let it rip.
So while the cool kids were on AOL, I was on sound recorder, recording my own farts and my own voice, singing songs, speeding it up, sounding like a chipmunk or whatever.
Phew.
That was because AOL. Because when you get in AOL, like AOL, oh gosh, I lost English again. But when you get into AOL, you think about like Messenger.
You lost English when you said I lost English. No one says that.
But yeah, I think about Messenger and stuff too.
Hey,
Did you do that a lot?
That's what I think of, man. AOL Instant Messenger was like the text message of our generation. We couldn't wait to get out of school to get on AOL to message our friends that we were just at school with.
Yeah, it made no sense. And that was emojis were born.
Yeah,
that's when emojis were born. Yeah,
the colon and the parentheses. Yeah. Every emoji was like this. You had to read every emoji sideways. Like, oh, that's a smiley face with a hat on.
Yeah, and you'd get one and be like, what is that? I wonder.
And then you would look it up.
Yeah, you'd have to. And like, I remember when I first got Messenger, I didn't have any friends, and like my only Messenger friend was my sister, and we could never talk to each other because we only had one computer. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna send you a message and you can reply later when you go on. You know.
Get off the phone. I'm trying to use Messenger. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, I remember. When you played internet games and stuff like that, and the phone rang, I would run through the house screaming,
"Don't answer it!
Don't answer the phone! Don't do it!" I mean, that was when it took 5 minutes to even connect to the internet.
5 minutes. Way longer than that, it feels like. Dude, I mean, it had to go through a whole thinking process to just computers were loud, dude.
Dude, you would start, I remember you would literally go to get onto the internet and you would walk away. You would go do something else.
When you heard it stop making its screeching dial tone noises, that's when it was time to get on the AO. When you heard, "You've got mail," it was time.
Yeah.
It was time, baby. The computer was cooked.
Oh yeah. It was ready to roll. At that moment, you was ready to roll for sure.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, it was, man, that was crazy times, dude.
Simple times.
Birth of internet, very simple. You know, it was so slow then, too.
It was really slow. It was everybody was nice. Everybody was friendly. What is going on?
So my wife is just like, hey, I know you're doing something important. I'm gonna make as much noise as possible.
That sounds like my wife.
Yeah, I know, right?
They should hang out sometime or something. They might get.
Oh yeah, for real. Yeah.
But yeah,
man, that's not even what we talked about today. Is not even like a small chunk of the 90s.
Doesn't even scratch the surface, man. I'm sure. Did you have a lot more that you had wrote down that we didn't even get to touch on?
It's just there's so many. Like when I think about the 90s, I do think about video games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things. Movies.
Mm-hmm. Blockbuster.
I was gonna go even more TV shows. You know, like you talk about like adult TV shows. I think about like Full House and
Saved by the Bell. There was a lot.
Home Improvement.
Man.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's so much nostalgia to touch on. Like even you talk about cartoons. One of my wife's favorites is like Pinky and the Brain.
That was a good one.
All of Cartoon Network, Dexter's Laboratory, Powerpuff Girls.
An hour is not enough time to give the 90s. I mean, there could possibly be a part 2 to this. That's how much there is to talk about the 90s. If you guys want us to talk about anything or anything that you remember, just let us know in the reviews and the comments. I mean, we'd love to reminisce with you. I mean, the 90s were great.
For real.
The 90s were great.
But yeah, Yeah, and so many more toys and everything. I mean, it's such a huge genre and or topic, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, dude, send us some feedback, guys. If y'all want us to, not only just the outings, but anything. All right.
Anything you want to hear us talk about, anything that you enjoyed or you didn't enjoy, let us know, man. We appreciate the feedback. We appreciate all the love that we got from our first podcast.
Yes.
It's really cool. I didn't think that people would actually enjoy listening to me and you talk, but I mean, maybe they're just lying to us. Most people would probably,
especially me. You're probably carrying right now.
Well, they're probably like, they tried. Let's give them a pat on the back. They tried.
We listened to the first one and whatever.
Watch, I guarantee the second one probably won't get as much as the first one because they're like, yeah, I don't really want to go through that again. An hour of that. That's a lot.
For sure. But yeah, guys, send us topics. Send us stuff that you may want us to talk about, whatever you want us to do. So, yeah, for sure. I'm game with talking about anything.
Well, guys, that's all we've got for the day. Appreciate y'all coming to hang out. Till next time, Robert.
Yeah, for real. Really enjoyed it, and yeah, like he said, until next time, just tune in for the next one.
All right.
Subscribe, follow, do whatever you need to do.
Do it all. Do it all. Everything. Twitch, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Twitter, YouTube. Do it all, people. We need you.
Yeah.
And we appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night, good day, good afternoon, whatever it is for you. We appreciate you. See ya.
Bye.